Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Nick Petro at the National Weather Service in Raleigh with your weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina. And this briefing covers the period today through Sunday, October 29th through the 3rd of November. And obviously that includes Halloween as well, so we'll be highlighting the Halloween weather as well. All right. For trick-or-treating, of course. So, and the good news is trick-or-treating weather should be really good here. You can see on the maps on this particular slide, fair weather is expected thanks to high pressure right through Wednesday. And it looks like our next chance for rain and thunderstorms will be on Thursday, late Thursday particularly, through Thursday night and maybe into early Friday. Now with that cold front, and that's depicted in the image in the lower left, you can see a cold front sweeping across central North Carolina. That'll happen late Thursday through Thursday night into early Friday. And again, that system will bring us a chance for some rain. Once we get that front to our east, high pressure will return as shown in the lower right, and that'll bring fair weather, although perhaps a little cooler for the weekend. So that's the way things are shaping up. Also with the cooler and particularly drier low dew point air over the area right now with that high pressure, we could see a few patches of frost in the normally sheltered locations late tonight and Tuesday morning with that chilly air mass still kind of hanging over us for tonight. So look for that. That won't be a big problem. It is late October, so no surprises there. It's about time for some patchy frost. But again, that would be in the mainly sheltered locations. So again, Wednesday evening for trick-or-treating for the Halloween festivities, we should have good weather and actually fairly warm for this time of year anyway. This slide shows from the Storm Prediction Center the severe thunderstorm potential. We are not highlighted for severe thunderstorms or any thunderstorms at all today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And but I will point out that while these maps don't depict it, when that front comes through late Thursday, there could be a few isolated strong thunderstorms, with wind damage being the main threat. While we don't expect widespread severe storms, we don't expect this to be a widespread severe thunderstorm event late Thursday, but again, don't be surprised if there's one or two isolated strong thunderstorms out there that could give us some isolated wind damage. All right, so that's the way things are shaping up with the severe thunderstorm potential. How much rain, you might be wondering, with Thursday, Friday's weather maker. And you can see in the lower left, that slide there, or that image covers the rainfall that we're expecting Thursday and Friday. And we're talking fairly light amounts, a half inch or less for most of central North Carolina. You can see there today, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're dry. And as is the case Saturday and Sunday, although, that little patch, that little splotch there of green there for Saturday and Sunday, that's basically depicting maybe some leftover lingering, just low clouds, drizzle type scenario possible, but not much of a weather maker. Your Saturday and Sunday's weather is going to be good, so don't worry about what you're seeing there in the lower middle. All right, so a half inch or less of rain Thursday and Friday. If we do get into a thunderstorm situation, there could be isolated pockets of slightly more than a half inch, but again, most places will see a half inch or less of rain late Thursday through Friday, early Friday. All right, what about the tropics? For North Carolina, it's quiet. No worries whatsoever as it relates to tropics. There is Oscar out there in the Atlantic, and you can see in the lower right image, Oscar's forecast to head off to the northeast and not be a problem. There, anytime there's a tropical storm or hurricane out in the middle of the Atlantic, it could send wave energy in the form of swells back towards the East Coast. So, look for increased rip currents at the beaches. If you know anybody headed to the beach, or if you're going to the beach yourself, and I know the water's cooling down and it's not quite as good, going into the water this time of year, but if you know anybody who's going to venture out, probably not a good idea to venture out in the water. There will be increased rip currents on the beaches really right now through much of the week, with Oscar out there in the middle of the Atlantic. All right. While we're on the topic of tropics, Melvin asks, what's the status of storms after Oscar? I thought I'd just throw that question out there real quick. Melvin, it looks like there's really not much else out there, and we're getting late in the season, so And I've looked at some of the long range models, and there's really nothing in the long range models that would suggest any tropical cyclone activity or concerns for central North Carolina. So, this time of year, tropical cyclones tend to form close to home if they're going to form. So obviously we can never let our guard down, but we're getting late in the season. Technically, the hurricane season runs through the end of November, so we shouldn't let our guard down. But we'll be watching the Gulf of Mexico and the Western Caribbean. That's where they typically tend to form if they're going to form this time of year. But this time of year, we also have increased westerly flow, so that's why a lot of times when they do form in the Western Caribbean, they just stay to our east. So my gut's telling me we're good for the rest of the season as it relates to tropical cyclones. And again, that's to address Melvin's question. He just typed that in the question box a few moments ago. All right. So anyway, moving on to next week, looking a week further in advance. And I think most people would appreciate the fact that odds favor above normal temperatures in the 8 to 14 day time frame. So that's early November. So certainly I think most folks would welcome that. We'll see if that does come to pass. Again, that's for next week. Not this week, but the following week. But unfortunately, with that warm weather, sometimes the system that brings the warm weather also can bring some rain. So we do have odds favoring above normal precipitation as well. So that's a glimpse to the following week. All right. So to summarize this week's Monday morning weekly briefing, fair weather is expected through Wednesday. Then a cold front will bring our next chance for rain and some thunderstorms late Thursday through early Friday. And then fair weather will return for the weekend. Some other highlights, a few isolated patches of frost are possible late tonight, Tuesday morning, but I'll highlight mainly in the normally sheltered locations. So if you're in one of those locations, it always seems to be, several degrees cooler than everywhere else surrounding you. Those are what we mean by those normally sheltered locations. Again, a few isolated patches of frost late tonight, Tuesday morning. Other than that, let's see, we can't rule out a few strong thunderstorms late Thursday, wind damage the main threat, but widespread severe storms are not expected at this time. And then back to temperatures. After a chilly start Tuesday morning, a warm-up is coming for the rest of the work week. And then behind Friday's front, we could cool down a few degrees for the weekend. So all in all, not terribly dangerous or impactful, other than a patch or two of frost in the normally sheltered locations. That's pretty typical anyway this time of year, and an isolated severe or strong thunderstorm late Thursday. So with that, I'll be happy to take any questions at this time as that wraps up the weekly briefing.